K-1 visa to U.S. citizenship for your Filipino fiancé. This is Fred Wahl, the Visa Coach. Today's topic is, what is the process to bring your Filipino fiancé to the USA and then go, well, all the way to U.S. citizenship? I personally am very familiar with the Philippines. I have traveled all over the country, from Lawag in the far north to Zamboanga in the far south. And the first ever K-1 fiancé visa petition I ever prepared was almost 50 years ago, and it was for my own Filipino fiancé. I am Fred Wahl, the Visa Coach, and I work for you to prepare and craft your applications to submit to U.S. immigration. And sometimes callers ask me, do I fill in the forms for them, or do they have to do it themselves? Well, of course, me and the Visa Coach team will prepare your application for you. And unlike the other services, we do not abandon you once you submit your application, but we remain at your side and continue working and guiding you all the way on this journey until your Filipino fiancé calls and say, well, she is on the way. So what is your current situation? Well, you have fallen in love, and your special someone is from the Philippines. So what do you do? Well, besides getting on the first available flight to the Philippines, you need to prepare yourself, well, to overcome a complicated and difficult immigration system that stands in the way of your happiness. But fortunately, I am here to help you. So today I'm going to explain how to bring your Filipino fiancé home to the Philippines, home to the USA. And please watch to the end of this video, because near the end I will also explain what happens after your fiancé arrives. After all, after going through so much effort, you don't want him or her to have to leave your side. And so I will speak about the next steps after arrival, how to get approved for permanent residency, and finally, how your partner can become a U.S. citizen. Now, let's talk about how to bring your Filipino fiancé to the USA. So the big picture is, well, we prepare an application, and it is submitted in the USA to the United States Citizenship and Immigration Service, called USCIS. And then once USCIS has completed its review, well, the case is handed over to the U.S. State Department's National Visa Center, NVC, in New Hampshire. And finally, NVC couriers the case overseas to the U.S. Embassy in Manila for the in-person interview and approval of the fiancé visa. Then your fiancé uses this visa to travel to and enter the USA. So now let's get into the details. First, we submit a thick package of application forms and supporting documents and evidence. This is the front-loaded petition that, well, Visa Coach is famous for. My philosophy, the Visa Coach philosophy, which we rigorously follow on every case Team Visa Coach works on, is that success, final outcome, final approval depends 99% on the quality of your application that you and we put together and submit to U.S. immigration. So we take every opportunity, leave no stone unturned in making your application as complete and persuasive as possible. The quality of the work we accomplish at the start, at the front of this process, determines the ultimate outcome. So when quality goes in, well, a positive result comes out. Now, this petition package is mailed to USCIS. Fiancé visa applications go to Dallas, Texas. And after initial sorting, then the applications are assigned and forwarded to one of, well, 6 various USCIS service centers that are scattered throughout the USA. Now, at the destination USCIS center, your case is reviewed and processed. There's an agent there who's going to look at it. This takes many months to complete their review. Slow or fast, U.S. immigration is like a one-lane highway. The sooner you enter and get in line, the sooner you exit. And the cases that enter after you will only get to their destination after you do. So the sooner you apply, the sooner this will be behind you. Now, the review at USCIS includes an FBI background check, and this is usually only on the U.S. citizen's background. However, it will also include your fiancé if she or he had ever lived in the USA for a while. When USCIS is satisfied with your application, they approve, or at least as far as they're concerned, then hand it over to the NVC based in New Hampshire. Normally, NVC holds fiancé visa applications only briefly. They quickly touch the application just long enough to confirm that the case should be sent to Manila, assign a new case number that starts with MNL, pack it into a DHL mail bag, and ship it off to the Philippines. Now finally, the day will come when your fiancé is sent, your case is sent via diplomatic pouch to the Philippines. Now, there are 2 consulate locations in the Philippines, in Manila, north, and in Cebu City, in the south. The consulate in Manila, though, handles all fiancé visa interviews. So sorry, even if your fiancé lives across the street from the consulate in Cebu, she or he must still make the trip to Manila for processing. Now, once your case arrives at Manila, the consulate usually contacts your fiancé to advise they're ready to move your case forward. I say usually because a lot of the cases will get caught between the cracks and no instructions get through to you. The instructions are either lost or simply not sent. I work with my clients to track their case's progress, and with or without a notification from the consulate, I know when to start you on the steps to follow and when to do so. Now, the consulate uses a commercial booking service called ustraveldocs.com that collects visa fees and helps schedule appointments. So the first step for your fiancé is to register at this service's website. Your fiancé obtains a deposit slip from the booking website and uses it when paying the $265 visa application fee. This is normally done in person by your fiancé, bringing her his passport and the payment to a branch of the Bank of the Philippine Islands. Now, the following day, the website is updated, confirming that the fee has been received, and a calendar pops up, now available for your fiancé to choose a day for the interview. And in addition to scheduling the interview, well, a few more things need to be accomplished before the interview takes place, okay? So you, the U.S. sponsor, sends your fiancé the affidavit of support we have completed for you, along with your corresponding financial evidence. 2, your fiancé obtains the certificate of no marriage, called CENOMAR, pronounced CENOMAR, from the Philippine Statistics Office. 3, your fiancé obtains police clearances from the Philippines and from each country where he or she has resided for over 6 months. And finally, your fiancé undergoes a 2-day medical exam at St. Luke's Clinic in Manila. Now, finally, on the big day, your fiancé attends the interview at the U.S. consulate. Shortly after arrival at the consulate, your fiancé will be greeted by a local Filipino clerk and asked to show all the documents that the consulate expected to be presented for your case. The clerk will go over each item on his or her checklist, ticking off that your fiancé has brought the needed documents. Now, it's critical that your partner be well prepared and has brought everything that is required. Failure to bring even one of these items might cause the interview to be canceled, or, if allowed to proceed, might add months of additional delay till the visa is issued. Because this is so critical, and with proper planning, it's so easy to avoid this kind of problem, that we at VisaCoach prepare for you a personalized, precise checklist on what must be brought to the consulate without fail for your case. We prepare this checklist using our knowledge of your background and situation combined with our previous experience working with the consulate, knowing what they want and what they don't want. Now, finally comes the actual interview. This is when your fiancé meets with an American consular officer. It is no longer the local hires. The officer will be making the final decision on your case. So this is the big event. Now, during the interview, the consular officer must be convinced that your relationship is bona fide and not a sham contrived for immigration purposes. And I'm sorry to say this, but U.S. immigration has had a long and troubled history with fiancé and spouse type visas. Their experience has not been a good one. For regular immigration, there are simple tests of eligibility. For example, if a naturalized U.S. citizen were to apply for his or her mother or brother to immigrate to the USA, the simple test would be birth certificates. As all the names on these official documents would match, the mother or brother would be clearly eligible and approved for their immigration visas. But for romance type visas, for fiancé visas like you have submitted, there is no simple clear test. Instead, the officer must rely on you and your fiancé's words, your statements that your relationship is real, not a sham for immigration purposes. Please don't get me wrong. I know that you are totally sincere, totally in love, totally genuine. But the officer does not know you like I do. There is nothing personal about the officer's suspicions. The problem is that the well has been poisoned by the con men and scammers who long ago figured out that they could trick their way into the USA. These crooks have made it difficult for honest people. Now, because no simple, reliable test exists, because so many consular officers have been tricked and made fools of before, because of their frustration and embarrassment, the consular officers have decided to take the pessimistic and confrontational attitude that all romance visa cases are probably shams, not bona fide. Sadly, they will treat you and your fiancé as guilty until proven innocent. Now, the original application that we prepared and submitted to USCIS long ago at the start of the application process now is open on the consular officer's desk for his or her preparation for the interview. The officer always reviews the application while your partner is waiting in the lobby of the consulate. He or she is preparing what questions to ask and is searching for red flags that, well, increase his or her suspicion. The officer is looking for reasons for denial. And this is why the VisaCoach method of front-loading a petition is so valuable. We craft each application understanding the consular officer's standpoint. We understand, as a professional, if he or she finds convincing evidence of your sincerity, he or she will be prepared to approve and issue the visa. We also know that if it is not totally clear that the couple is genuine, if for any reason he or she is not totally convinced that the officer, well, he would prefer to deny instead of taking any chances. After all, if he or she approves a scamming couple, the officer's career and reputation is hurt. But if the officer denies an honest couple, well, he or she is only being diligent, and the denied couple can always reapply. So, no harm done. So what we want to do is help the officer make the right decision. We help him or her do their job by going the extra mile to make sure your application does the talking for you, that it contains what is needed to convince a reasonable but skeptical person to trust you and your situation. It would be nice if you could attend the interview and personally smooth out any misunderstandings before they cause problems. But you won't be there. Only your fiancé will attend the interview. And even if you are present in the Philippines, you will not be able to enter the consulate. You will be kept outside. Your fiancé faces the interview alone. Now, while you can't be there in person, our plan at VisaCoach is to help you to be there at least in spirit. With each VisaCoach's front-loaded application, we include your personal statement from you that describes how you met, why you were attracted to each other, the development of your relationship, key moments in your courtship, the circumstances of your proposal, your plans for the wedding, for your future lives and family together. Bona fide couples have history. They have plans. Their history and plans have many details. By sharing these details, we help the officer get to know you. And once the officer gets to know you, he or she is surely going to trust you and your situation. For most of my clients, creative writing is difficult. I know it's difficult for me. But I have designed our system at VisaCoach to help make it easy for you to tell your important, honest, detailed story. We guide you step by step, bit by bit, prompting you with short questions in order to hear your answers in your voice. Then using our expertise expertise in what is important to the consular officer decision. We combine and edit your notes together, crafting a clear, reasonable document that goes a long way to bring the consular officer to an understanding of you and your fiancé as two sympathetic human beings, two people who are truly in love, people who easily could be his neighbors back in the States. By front-loading your petition with well-chosen evidence, by including you there in spirit, we set the tone for a successful interview. Now, most of VisaCoach's interviews, well, are short and sweet, ending with "Welcome to the USA." About 2 weeks later, the consulate has printed the visa into your fiancé's passport and then returns her his passport to your fiancé using LBC Express Courier. The courier will deliver to your fiancé's home. They have offices and couriers on mopeds scattered all over the Philippines to help do so. Or if your fiancé prefers, she or he can arrange to personally pick up the passport at one of 99 LBC offices, including one at the Mall of Asia. Your fiancé's K1 fiancé visa is valid for 6 months from the date of the St. Luke's medical. And this gives your fiancé plenty of time to settle fares before leaving for the USA. But before your fiancé boards the aircraft, she or he must attend a 2-hour class sponsored by the Commission on Filipinos Overseas, CFO. This is a requirement made by the Philippines government, basically to protect your fiancé, teaching her how to recognize spousal abuse and what to do about it. Now, your fiancé must take the class and obtain a stamp affixed to his or her passport, and it's going to be checked at the airport. Your fiancé will not be allowed onto the aircraft without proof of taking the class. Now, arriving on a K1 fiancé visa, you have officially 90 days to get to know each other better and decide to marry, yes or no. Now, you don't have to marry, but if you do not, your Filipino fiancé should leave the USA before the allowed 90-day visit expires. Now, assuming you marry on time, your Filipino spouse can remain in the USA, does not ever have to leave, providing that you and your spouse apply to USCIS for permission to stay. The new application is called Adjustment of Status. Your Filipino spouse adjusts his or her immigration status from a 90-day visitor to a lawful, permanent resident. Now, VisaCoach helps you prepare this application too. Previously, U.S. immigration was concerned about fraud. Well, they still are. So this application, again, must contain critical evidence of a bona fide relationship. We include evidence of the wedding, honeymoon, setting up a home together. We again help you write your statement, updating what is happening now in your bona fide relationship in the USA. Now, the process to get the green card is slow, usually taking over a year. But once permanent residency is approved, your Filipino spouse gets the green card. But wait! The green card has an expiry date that's only 2 years away. Now, the reason that they only issue a conditional green card, valid for only 2 years, is because, well, U.S. immigration is still cautious. They are still skeptical about your romance case, and they want one more opportunity to catch you in fraud. So just prior to the end of the 2 years lawful residence, VisaCoach, we apply to USCIS once again. This application is called Removal of Conditions on Residence. And at the end of this process, usually 1 to 2 years, your Filipino fiancé finally gets a regular green card, and this one is permanent without any conditions. Now, for many, this is the end of the U.S. immigration journey. Your Filipino spouse has her or his green card, can reside in the USA as long as he or she wants. Your spouse is still a citizen of the Philippines and still uses her or his Philippines passport when traveling outside the USA. However, for most, there is one last final step that can be taken. Once your Filipino spouse has been a lawful U.S. resident for 3 years, if she or he wants, she can apply to become a U.S. citizen and be able to vote in U.S. elections and travel using a U.S. passport. Now, the couples team VisaCoach helps will become our friends and family. And we are honored to guide you through each step of the immigration journey, starting from courtship to arrival and fiancé visa to green card and permanent residency, and finally all the way through to U.S. naturalization and citizenship. This was Fred Wahl, the VisaCoach, and I'm here to personally guide you on this journey. Now, please like or add your comments to this video. And click here for our monthly newsletter and receive bonus ebooks. Here for YouTube's recommendation, here for the full playlist on recent videos on Philippines visas, and here to subscribe to our channel.